Welcome to Bench Talk Live. Excited to get started today with y'all. We'll let some questions come in. We're going YouTube Live. Sip of coffee to the workout, man. All right. Get the right light in here. All right, guys. Drop your cues below on YouTube Live. We'll answer some questions from our Instagram stories the other day. This is a Bench Talk Live podcast. You can check out the Benchcast on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out the Benchcast. All right, we have a Thursday topic episode. Last Thursday was on managing intensities within a workout. So we're talking what type of intensity should we bring to main movements, secondary movements, and accessories. What's my approach towards secondary movements and as well accessories. How we doing? Thanks for joining in. Appreciate everyone joining in. T. Kylene, how we doing? Taking questions. So if you guys have any bench questions, things you're struggling with, things you want to improve, anything at all, just drop them below. Taryn boy, what's up, my friend? How we doing? Thanks for joining in. I'm gonna start off by answering some questions here that we got from Instagram Live the other day. All right, so first one I thought was a great question, and from one of our athletes. She asked speed versus tempo, and when to train each of these. Now, my answer to that was speed work is something that I could have in an athlete program throughout an entire training cycle, which could be from 12 to 16 weeks, if not a little bit longer. Speed work might be something if I feel like they can benefit from power development, the coordination that comes along with that, just the technical practice you can get from moving light weights very quickly. If I feel like they can benefit from that, I am going to continue to utilize speed work in that athlete's programming for a good period of time. Okay, so that might remain true throughout the entire training program. If I feel like they could benefit more from the tempo work in terms of gaining hypertrophy. Slowing a movement down is also very key for a newer lifter. If I have someone that's rather new or needs a lot of technical practice, slowing down the tempo is always a good strategy and approach towards that, as opposed to trying to get them to move as quickly as possible. That's a little bit more advanced, in my opinion. But tempo work is something that is traditionally used for hypertrophy, and that's going to be earlier in the training cycle. Tempo work's not usually something we're going to have later on um, in a training cycle. Your pause work, yeah. Tempo work in terms of slow eccentrics, things like that, usually not going to utilize that in the final, at least within the final 8 weeks of a program. Okay, so looking at the whole picture, tempo work's a great strategy starting off a program, especially a secondary work. Um, after you do your main sets, taking the tempo down for secondary work. That's a great strategy. I like tempo front squats, stuff like that. Really fries the quads. Um, so that would answer the difference between the two, what you're trying to get out of it, who they're for. Speed work, a little bit more of an advanced athlete, someone who could benefit from more power development, and then when to train them. Speed work throughout a training cycle, tempo a little bit earlier in a training cycle. Stevie, what's up, my friend? Thanks for joining in. Probably sitting in his car again at work. Sip of coffee to you. Straight espresso, no creamer. Ran out of creamer. Matt, Tuesday is the best day because after bench talk, I cannot wait to get to benching. So I imagine your bench day is Tuesday there, Matt. Um, yeah, I don't particularly bench today, but this gets me amped up to do some benching too. Something that's been amping me up lately in my training is getting back out to like a commercial gym setup, a good one like Gold's, and there's a place called Ultimate Gym out in Hicksville, and uh, I enjoy getting out to those environments. A lot of people, all kind of a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of power lifters, all in the same place, getting after it, working hard. It's just nice to be around whole bunch of other people like that, and I'm very direct with my accessory work when I get out to those. So I love just frying triceps or hitting a lot of back work. Um, I waste no time. I can get an excellent workout in 30 minutes flat, get out of there. And that's something I've been really pumped up about. I think it's making tremendous benefit in my bench because most of the accessories I've been doing now are directed towards tricep and back work. I've been adding a lot of that in and feeling really, really great with my bench, and also feeling for staying at the same body weight that I'm filling out my shirts better, feeling a little bit bigger. My bench shirts are fitting a little bit tighter, so able to keep that rolling. All right, so that's something that's been pumping me up lately. Squat Lord, appreciate you joining in. Not sure what that means, but thank you for joining in. Appreciate it. Stevie says an espresso machine comes in today. I'll sip to the benching men. Oh yeah. Toast to all the benching men out there, benching men and women getting at it bench day. Matt says, what do you like to do the day after a heavy bench workout? Like getting that soreness, stiffness out. So for me, I don't really get stiffness. Yeah, soreness. I don't really get after a big heavy bench session, especially with it's not a lot of volume. Fridays we do our bench days, and it's typically we get heavy, we get out. No accessory work really. We hit our secondary stuff, but it's a quick, short workout. I mean, quick, quote unquote. Since we have more people benching, all these workouts take quite a while. Um, so I like to actually fit my accessories in the next day. And accessories, it's all isolation type movements. That's what gets me sore, the volume from that. The stiffness, the feeling of just feeling shot, not really wanting to do much, the neural fatigue that comes along with it, your eyes, the pressure behind your eyes all day because you blew them out benching big. That all that's with you, but I don't even really deters me from doing some tricep or back work. You know what I mean? So it's usually those workouts that I have a hard time recovering from, especially just starting back out like that, just slamming triceps. I did a session where I did 5 different tricep movements, just crushed triceps. And, I was feeling that for a good week, solid. No joke. Good week. My triceps were just fried. I was actually worried a bench session that I was going to have a really tough time because it was tough to move 225, a few days after that. So, yeah, those are the sessions right now that I'm hooking up the tens unit. I'm trying to really eat good, and those are the sessions that are kind of kicking my ass right now. It's not really getting heavy work in, especially being a shirt being so protected too. That doesn't really bother me. I've been really good with that, fortunately. Deep tissue does help a ton, keeping me healthy for that. Uh, JC says, "What would a little election day question here? What would the electoral map look like if only people who could bench at least their body weight could vote?" I don't know. I don't think either are benching very much, so I don't know if I have a great answer for that. Um, yeah, so don't got much for you there. Sip of coffee to the working man. Let's get into some Instagram questions. I'm make sure I get through these. We had one about cutting before competition. Okay. Cutting before competition. Now, this individual yesterday asked about how I'd approach cutting 1 kilogram of weight before competition. Now, 1 kilogram of weight, if we convert that into pounds, that's 2.2 pounds. That's not much weight at all. I mean, you could go to the bathroom and come back 2.2 pounds lighter. So, in that regards, I would first just look to go to the bathroom, but I would probably, if I have a little bit of weight to cut, I'm talking about 6, 8 pounds. I'd probably just try to do that in the sauna because I'm always going to try to do something that has more acute effects first. So sweating, you acutely quickly get out that sweat, so you're going to lose that body weight, and you can replenish that very quickly. Okay, it's the things such as when you deplete yourself of glycogen, that's when you run into trouble because that takes more time to replete. So I'd always look to just, if I can just sweat it out, spit in a cup. As gross as that sounds, you can get a lot of poundage. I lost 3 pounds going to Pennsylvania, spitting in a cup. Use Sour Patch Kids gum, get all that saliva out. You just spit in the cup, lost 3 pounds that way. Um, but yeah, I would do everything up to changing your diet. so that you don't retain as much, because that's where you're gonna get the biggest detriment. Now, I'm guessing this individual was doing a 2 hour weigh-in. That I would definitely not play around doing a big cut, nor really taking, changing your diet in order not to retain as much. I would look to just sweat something out quick and then replenish quickly after. Um, those are tough. I would honestly tell someone just not to bother cutting weight unless they're within like 5 pounds um, of those types of competitions, USAPL, that stuff. 2 hour weigh-ins are tough. Everything I've always done for a cut has been a 24-hour weigh-in. That's enough time to get back to the weight you were at, if not a little bit more. I've done 327-pound cuts. Those are my biggest cuts, and none of them are great. None of them feel easy. That's a process. Yeah, usually it's all happening a week before that weigh-in, but that 24-hour period is really key to getting back to where you need to be. I'll get some more questions coming in. We've just been. Let me know, guys, if you care that I'm not on the Instagram live anymore. We had a lot of viewership last week just on YouTube Live alone, so I figured I just want to channel everything to this outlet here, YouTube Live. I also think it's a little more convenient for most. You can get it on your phone, just like get Instagram. Plus, if you're at home, I've streamed plenty of YouTube Lives through my TV too, which is cool. If you guys happen to be around a smart TV or whatever you got, Fire Stick or something. But I'm just been going to the YouTube. Let me know if you guys preferred having an Instagram live too, or having both streams up. Just let me know on that. Sip of coffee to you. Talk a little bit real quick about our membership program, guys. I'm super, super pumped about this membership program that we came out with. We have our prior membership program, which we hosted through Facebook. It's a little bit limiting there. I wanted to add some more content, do some more things, do training recaps, stuff like that, where I voice over and discuss what's going on. So I wanted to add more content for our membership. I'm doing that on a different site. If you go to bigbenchers.com, if you click membership, it'll take you to that site. It's hosted through Podia, which also hosts our online courses. Check that out, guys. We got a lot of cool stuff there. We got a couple different tiers. If you're someone who's already on our membership program, all you have to do is sign up with the new link, and then you'll get access to that and the Facebook. And I've posted about that with our group. But anyways, the membership program is going to be really, really awesome. I'm super amped about some of the stuff I'm bringing to it. Weekly workouts. I did a workout this week that's designed to really develop strength off the chest, which I know is a lot of people's weak points. We're going to have all different targeted workouts each week for that type of thing, different movements. So if you like to work along, maybe that can be your bench day for this week, So anyways, without getting too much off track, we also have an affiliate program that we're coming out with. So if you'd like to help promote some of our online courses, you can receive 50% commission on those programs. So they sell for $99. So it'll yield you about $50 if you want to help promote some of our online courses. If you know a friend that might be interested, it's easy for them to set up monthly payments too for that. So if you want to become an affiliate, just let me know and shoot me a message, and I'll send you the email information for that. I just have to link your PayPal. All right, guys, going into some more questions. We had a good one the other day that came in on SDP material, the bench shirt, Inzer SDP. Now, he was asking black versus navy blue. I know there's a lot of discussion about the different colors. They different shirts, different material. Do they act differently? And I would say it's not the color. All right, it's not the color of the material. It's the same material. It's really the time period and when the shirt was made. So, I mean, right now, if you were to get a black or a navy blue SDP, it's going to be the same thing. It's not going to be a difference, okay? But if you have, like, an old SDP, I have an old black SDP, it's made out of a different material, okay? It's a stretchier material, good and bad, I'd say. Well, without getting into the pros and cons of it, it's different, okay? It's different than what you'd get today. I don't know how often these things change. I know they've changed quite a few in the past couple decades. I'm not sure if it's like every 5 years things change a bit. Obviously there's been huge progression since like the early 2000s in terms of bench shirts and the material used and how they're constructed. So it's really, when you're looking at bench shirts, it's the time period that they were constructed. I'm not sure, especially if you're buying used shirts, if everyone knows when that was. So it's kind of tricky there if you're getting a used shirt. If you get a new shirt, you know what you're getting. So Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a color thing. It's more of a time period thing in terms of what you're getting with your bench shirts. Royston, how to deal with joint pain while benching over 300 pounds. So, joint pain, I'm sure you would respond to different things. Everyone's going to respond to something different. You know, we have a video on our YouTube about dealing with tennis elbow, and that's been a huge hit for a lot of people using TheraBand thing, and you know, Elvis helped us with that, and that was a video that helped a lot of people with elbow pain. I like a general warm up that has a lot of like banded extensions, banded bicep work just to get fluid going into the elbow joint. I also highly recommend our Big Benches elbow sleeves. I wear them myself, keeps the joint compressed and warm. You know, just doing that general care stuff. But a lot of what it comes down to too is just analyzing what you're doing in your training. Do you need more deloads? Do you need to manage the intensities differently? You know, so I would really look to make training modifications than just general health and well-being stuff like wearing elbow sleeves and um, doing all that prep work, soft tissue work on the forearms, and all that has been key. That's always something that helped me out a lot. Um, we put up a video just recently on our YouTube about dealing with shooting forearm pain. That's something I got from a lot of heavy benching in the past. Something that helped me out tremendously with that is getting bi-weekly deep tissue massage. I never really had an issue with that stuff since starting to do that on a regular basis. Really does make a huge difference. I remember the first time I got the deep tissue done, and I felt like crying from getting beat up on the forearm. Right, it was intense pain. It was not friendly. And then now, it's a cakewalk. Getting the same pressure, but just in a more pliable state, for lack of a better word. Um, so that makes a huge difference. Something I always recommend. Matt says, "Do you like following what Louis Simmons says about not using wrist wraps to build forearm strength?" Yeah, I'm definitely big on ditching the wraps every now and then. I always have to keep myself modest with that. Recently, one of the new videos, the training recaps I just posted to the membership group that we have, um, that I was explaining towards the end, I was doing some board pressing, close grip board pressing, and I was explaining how I was ditching the wrist wraps for that set, and I was kind of talking about how it's to build that wrist strength, develop that control. You get a much better appreciation for um, where that bar is sitting in your hand, bar control. You're much more aware of those things because if that bar gets cocked back to a bad position, it's coming down with a lot of weight, especially overloaded in the RAM like I was doing it in that video. So I have to keep myself modest time to time too, taking off the wrist wraps because I usually overuse wrist wraps myself. I throw them on, usually when I get the 3 plates or so. Um, don't think much of it, but getting some training in without wrist wraps is really important and can help tremendously with the big weights for sure. It's a great question there, Matt. Another question come in from Instagram the other day on bicep training. Hot topic here. Sip of coffee to the working man. Does bicep training hold any value for bench pressing? Okay. And what I said yesterday in our Instagram stories is bicep training, kind of like calf training. You know, it's definitely a vanity muscle more so than a usage muscle, in my opinion. Especially when it comes to benching. I think you get a good, sufficient bicep stimulus within your row work. Um, so to train it extra, it just it's not that it doesn't hold value, especially I guess the most value it would hold is just in balancing the body out. If your body's not in balance, you're setting yourself up for injuries. Okay, so if all you do is train triceps and you give no thought to biceps whatsoever, in any capacity, you're not really getting a significant stimulus from rows, or you're relying on, I don't know, wrist wraps a lot and stuff like that. You got to think, once something overpowers the other, if all you do is train chest and never back, you're going to run into some issues. So just keeping the body in balance, keeping it injury free, and that's what the biggest benefit for training biceps. But when it comes to what it's actually doing in the bench press, I'd say biceps hold very little value to the other things that you could potentially use that volume for, such as your back strength, your tricep strength, all that, shoulder stability. These are all things I'd prioritize over bicep training. But looks good to have big biceps. Bicep training is fun for some. So, I don't think it hurts if you can find the time to get some extra bicep work in. I certainly will get some hammer rope curls and stuff like that in when I'm doing my triceps. It's a quick flip of the cable machine and then boom, hit biceps. So yeah, I'll definitely throw that in when I can. But if we're pressed for time and we're just trying to get in what we can, there's other things I'd rather prioritize first for sure. That was a great question. No, I know that's a bit of a hot topic for many. All right, guys, so that's what I have from Instagram the other day. That's what I wanted to touch on. So if we could drop some questions here on YouTube, I'm here to answer whatever you want. Help you guys out if you're having any particular issues, any deficits in your training, something you want ideas on how to improve. Here to help you out. We'll talk about it. Royston has a good question. What are your thoughts on reverse grip bench press? So reverse grip bench press is not something that I've done much of. I think it does hold great value, especially if you have pretty immobile shoulders or you have some shoulder issues. It's really going to pitch you into the lats and triceps like how you should be. So if you're not already getting there with a normal grip, then a reverse grip is going to automatically just put you where you need to be in terms of loading lats and firing the triceps. And I think it's more of a tricep focus type variant in itself. I do think it holds some good value. It's something that I've been playing around with a little bit more and seeing others utilize too. I still haven't done much reverse grip training. It's just not something I've really thrown much into the program for myself. And I don't know if I will be. My shoulders are starting to come around, feel pretty good lately. So, but I do think it can hold value in that technical aspect for someone who wants to protect their shoulder a little bit more and needs that extra work to really learn how to load the lats and develop their triceps and stuff. So I think it's worth a shot for most people to try out. Sip of coffee to the worker man. Let's take some more cues here on the YouTube. All right, taking your questions. Again, guys, you can check out our membership program, bigbenches.com/ you click the membership tab, and I'm super pumped about some of the stuff we're putting up there. Just posted a weekly workout the other day. Also posted a training recap of a session I worked up to 725 pounds plus 100 pounds of band tension. The goal of this workout was actually a little short-handed. So I was gonna do board work originally, but ended up doing banded work, and the goal was just to get something in my hands over my all-time max. So I did that by like 5 pounds. Felt really good. It was a really clean lift. So I'm really excited about where we can take the bench press for this next meet. But all that's recapped in that new membership post. Sip of coffee to the Rich Piana, says Deals Training. Absolutely, we'll give Rich Piana a little sip of coffee. Cheers to the big man up there. All right, guys, answered your questions, whatever you got for me here. Answered a lot of what I just wanted to touch on from Instagram the other day. You can tune in every Monday on our Instagram stories. We share a post. You can drop your question in there. Also, if you're part of our membership program, you could drop your questions in there as well for future podcasts. I'll make sure I touch on those. And I'm looking to do a segment as well where I review people's videos. So I get sent videos quite often. And I wanted to do something where, I did the past in our Instagram stories. I review the technique going on, things I would recommend get changed, stuff like that. So I'm looking to either put that in our membership group or have that somewhere on YouTube. So if someone wants to ask me any or send me any videos on their bench training, we can throw that into the reel. Matt says, would asking the good looking girl at the gym to spot me a good way to open the door for a date? I don't know if that'll work out. I don't know if that'll work out for you. Well, you'll have to try it and see. Royston, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. How far can a person go in benching naturally? I really wouldn't put any limits on you. Like I always say, when I get that question and genetics and stuff like that, I would really never put a limit on your potential, because as soon as you put that limit in your mind, like if I was to tell you, 700 pounds, you're going to be like, oh, all right, getting your 700. But, as 1,000 pounds, you're going to have a different outlook. So, I would never put limiters in your mind. I'd always try to shoot for more and believe you're able to achieve that. All right. So, when it just comes to putting any kind of limiters on you, just stay away from that. It's always sky's the limit. You have to have that attitude. You have to have that attitude that you can believe that you can achieve more. All right, that's really, really critical. That's what helps you avoid plateaus too. I've known many people who, like myself, when I got the 3 plates on the bench press, for whatever reason, I got stuck there for a good amount of time, and a lot of it just had to do with, there's 3 plates on the bar now. Oh shit, So it's having that belief that you can move that weight quickly and get over that slump too. Very, very critical. Okay, when more weight goes on the bar, you have to, be ready to attack it. Okay, you can't have that limiter in your mind. I think a lot of what I was doing early in my bench training, about 7 weeks back, 6 weeks back, why I've kind of taken off to this point, the last 5 or 6 weeks, been feeling awesome on the bench. It's just because I haven't had limiters in my mind. Um, last meet I hit 735. So I lost a lot of weight. I guess this is just kind of where I am building back. But then I started to push myself and, believe that I could do more, and, did some different technique work in the warm up, stuff like that. And, just trying to bring intensity to the lighter sets, make this stuff feel lighter. And, just it came a long way in a very short period of time. I feel really good. I think I can hit something like an all-time PR, get over that 820 mark. That's my all-time best. So I'm really excited about that. Moving on to Tiny's meet, going into March, going for the single ply world record at 220. I'm really excited about that challenge coming up. So I'm super pumped about a lot of stuff in the training. That's because I didn't put limiters in my mind. I'm always just like, throw that weight on the bar. We're going to see what happens. So that's what I would tell you, my friend. Is just continue to believe that you can achieve as much as you like. GeoPower 50. Hey, coach. Hope you're well. I can't stay consistent on bench, dead, squat, warm-ups without spending tons of time I don't have. Been just doing the barbell and working up to my numbers. It's working without issues. Your thoughts? What do you like? Thank you. So, GeoPower says spending a lot of time, just been doing barbell. So, I'd say that could work. You could get through a workout like that. Is it efficient? I don't think so. Um, a lot of my recent success on the bench press has been prioritizing that warm up period, because I was realizing I wasn't putting enough time into the warm ups for sure. I was usually setting up the gym. I was just kind of getting into it. Okay. Um, I wasn't putting the time I needed in my warm ups. I wasn't getting into the best position possible. Earlier later in the summer, I guess, I was taking weight off the 4-hole. Now I'm taking weight off the 3-hole, and even thinking sometimes that I could take this weight off the 2-hole in terms of rack height. Okay. So I'm getting to significantly better positions. And a lot of that is a better, more proper warm up, or doing a lot of scap movements, because that was something that I was having trouble with, being locked up, hunched over through the day. I was prioritizing getting a lot more scap movement in, stability through the shoulders with the big bend holds I started doing. And boy, did it just make such a huge difference. And you could feel the difference, because I was pressing the weight and my shoulders were gliding up on me, and it was shitty throws I wasn't keeping locked down. That warm up single handedly was really one of the biggest things, more so than training anything extra. It's just getting that proper activation movement in before benching. And that's recapped on our YouTube. You can see we have posted recently a bench warm up. That's exactly what I do now, is that warm up. And boy, has it been making a huge difference. It takes all the things that have always worked great for me and just put them all together into this short, efficient warm up. And I tell you the truth, I can get that warm up done in like 6 to 8 minutes. It really does not take very long. Um, and it makes such a big difference. So I would tell you, I would even sacrifice some of the main work or whatever you're doing for the day to get that warm up in, if that's something that's going to be very profound for you. For me, I can't skimp that, or I'm not going to have a good workout. So it's really not something that I can skimp on or skip over. So it really depends. It really depends where you're at. Matt says training for March started yesterday. That's great to hear, my friend. I'm super pumped. We had a lot of our team competing at this meet held by Tiny Meeker, an IPA meet down in Kingwood, Texas, and I'm really excited to get out to Texas again. I'm really excited to be able to compete in the meet with all our team lifters, meet a bunch of people that have been part of our either membership program or lifters who I've coached for extended period of time now. It's always great to meet up with everyone, to be able to bench with everyone, to be around that meet that's being put together with all these 1,000-pound benchers all competing to be the number one. Everyone coming together, fighting for prize money. I mean, that itself is going to be incredible to watch. I couldn't miss that. So I'm just really, really amped to for that meet and to be a part of that. And it's going to be a great time. I haven't been that amped up for an event in quite some while. I remember the first time, I got that invite finally to sign up to do the bench show on the main stage in Arnold. You can, I'm not sure if you can see that behind me there. Not really, but that picture was from the first time, 2017. I competed on the Arnold main stage, or 2018 rather, and that I was amped up about. I was really, really excited. That was a big goal for mine for a long time, but being in a position now where I really think I can make a run towards that record, an all-time world record from Greg Powell, and someone who I respect very highly. I'm sure he'll be down there doing that meet too. But to have a chance to set that record and be at that meet and be in Texas and around everyone, and it's going to be, I'm super pumped, super pumped, super pumped. Royston, Coach, any supplements you'd recommend to increase your bench strength? So I'm not a huge supplement guy. I have creatine. I have BCAAs, mostly because I didn't even buy the BCAAs. They were sent to me by an athlete of ours, Mike. So I've been taking those usually in the morning, because it gets me to drink more water, because I have to have a whole glass of water with it. And I think hydration first thing in the morning is really huge. But yeah, I've been utilizing creatine, fish oil, vitamin D, big thing I always try to keep in. Multivitamin. I got back to taking a multivitamin. I think any supplements is just that. It supplements proper dieting and good training. You're not going to beat good dieting to actually fuel your recovery. Anything you can do to improve recovery, get more sleep, train harder. These are all things that are going to have a much more profound impact on what you're able to do in terms of benching. So, yeah, that no secret bells and whistles, nothing like that. Just simple: train hard, recover harder. All right, guys, any more questions coming into YouTube? I'll take a few more. Sip of coffee to the working man. I'll take a few more questions through YouTube. Again, you can check out this podcast, The Benchcast, on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. This particular episode will be uploaded as well as our Thursday topic episodes. All right, where I discuss certain training topics, something related to bench press, overcoming a weak point. We touch on a lot of different topics in that episode. Usually a shorter podcast, around 15 to 20 minutes. Were the Patriots winning because of Belichick or Brady? I think what happened there, Matt, is obviously Brady played such a huge role. You see he's excelling in Tampa now, although he has a great team around him, which he never really had last year, especially. Um, though I still think it's a combination of both. I think it was one of the best coaches, one of the best quarterbacks, just a great storm. And I think the trouble the Pats are having this year, I mean, they could very well in some of these games have been 4-3 and still in contention for the division right now. But it didn't shake out that way, and I think the team is in complete shambles in terms of you don't even know who the wide receivers are. You don't even have any defensive, real the whole core of the linebackers is gone, and you're moving around linemen, so it's just kind of a shitty hand to be drawn this year in terms of player personnel. But I think both of them contributed to a great 2 decades there. So now it's just it's tough to watch the games, to be honest with you. It's been tough since about middle of last year, since they started 8-0, they started going downhill. I think we're like 4-9 or 4-10 or something since then. It's been a rough run. So I was watching the Buccaneers last night. I think I'm gonna start watching some of these other games. I don't think I can watch the Pats right now. It's getting ugly. Hope it turns around. Matt says the Bucks are playing Madden on Ultimate Team mode. That's for sure. It's greatness draws greatness. So I'm sure everyone wants a chance to play with Brady and be in that organization. And they already had some great players, and everyone obviously wants a chance to play with Brady because say they did, I'm sure, and then to actually have hopes of winning a Super Bowl. So it's just one of those things where greatness draws greatness in, and they got a real hell of a team. I'd be surprised if they didn't make a deep run. But you never know what you're going to get in the playoffs. So as long as you can sneak into the playoffs, anything can happen. But I'm sure they're poised for another Super Bowl run as it looks right now. Tell you that. All right, guys, we'll take one more question. Anything that pops in here. All right. Also, I just want to say, if you could tell a friend, just tell one friend about this podcast, that will really be a great help for us branching out and promoting the podcast, the Benchcast. Tell them Tuesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern time. They know where to find us. All right, YouTube Live. And, I'd really, really appreciate that. You just got to tell one friend, just send them a link. Be like, hey, it's a really cool podcast to listen to. I'm sure, people throw around podcasts all the time that are great to listen to. So if you could include us in that conversation, if you could let someone know every Tuesday, 12 p.m., I go live here and shoot the shit with you guys, answer questions, stuff like that. If it can help someone's bench press out, that's why I love doing this. So that would really, really mean a lot. I hope spread word of the podcast. If you could just tell one friend, again, to tune in. And this is on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. Sip of coffee to the working man. Actually, upgrading our podcast setup a little bit more. So we're going to have a new mic. We're going to have better lighting. So I'm really looking to, enhance that experience a little bit more for you guys too. So I'm really excited about things to come. All right, again, I'll take one more question. If anyone wants to drop something down below, all right, or that'll be a wrap for this week. Also, I'm open to any suggestions on topics, or if you'd like to see more live content from me in the future, if there's anything specific you want to see on our YouTube, I'm always open to suggestions. My main goal is always to provide you guys with the best information to improve your bench press, improve your lifts, and do so confidently and remain injury free. That's always a huge thing for me. Also, anyone listening who might be in the Michigan area, You got about 2 weeks left to sign up for our Michigan Bench Clinic. I'm coming out to Kalamazoo, Michigan, December 12th, and I will be doing a workshop there, a bench clinic, and super excited to come out to Warrior Training Systems out in Kalamazoo, Michigan. You're not going to want to miss this, guys. We're going to go over how to warm up the bench press. I'm going to go over the new warmth that I've been utilizing. We're going to get hands-on techniques. It'll be all one-on-one coaching. These things have been game changers for those who attend, and they're a lot of fun. So if you're in the Michigan area or anywhere near it, you want to drive out and make the trip, I'd really appreciate seeing you there. You have about a couple weeks left to sign up for this event. All right, and then it's closed out. So go to bigbench.com, click bench clinics. And then if you don't see a bench clinic in your area right now on schedule, just have the Michigan one, the Canada one in February. If you don't see a bench clinic on your near your area, reach out to me. Be like, hey, I just need to know a host gym in your area that might be a good setup to have one of these, and I'll reach out to them. We'll set something up. I would love to come to whatever area that you're in. Messaged a few in different parts of the country to come out and do bench clinic, and hopefully we can get out to your area soon. We can meet everyone and get some good hands-on bench technique stuff in. So you can always let me know, shoot me a message where you're at, and if you know a good gym in the area that I can reach out to host one of our bench clinics. All right, TJ Leaves, we'll take this. Will be last question. Stuck at a specific weight for about 1.5 months. I bench 2 times a week. I've been benching for close to a year. Do you think it would benefit me to do only sets of paused reps for a few weeks? Yeah, I think that can always carry a benefit. I don't know exactly where you're at in your programming in terms of the training cycle and that progression, if it's earlier on or if it's later on. But pause reps are tremendous. And, I always encourage our athletes, we're always pausing reps, never touch and go. So if you're coming from touch and go to pause, I would just adopt the pause throughout all your training if you're not already doing that. Okay. I was assuming that you were talking about long pause work, like 3-second pauses, 5-second pauses, working that type of thing. And that has a great benefit. Anytime we can make training harder, it's a great benefit. To back stability, control the bar, but how you're utilizing your back, that's huge with pause work. Developing more strength down at chest level, working on your positioning, all that is huge with pause work. And, we had a couple lifters now. They competed in USAPL last month, and both of them were absolutely shocked at how long they had to hold the bar. And something that we were working on the train, especially with a USAPL lift, because you do hold the bar there for a good amount of time, is making sure those pauses in training are very long, very strict. We don't want to cheat those pauses, or you're going to go into a meet and be in for a surprise. So we want to get accommodated to something that's harder so the meet becomes easier. But definitely, I think pause reps, we do quite a bit of that with the team. So I would definitely recommend you throw some of that into your training. TJ, yeah, so you've been doing touch and go. I would definitely recommend stop doing touch and go, especially if you're looking to compete, or if you do compete on the regular. I would just take touch and go out, because they're going to be two different things. You got to have that ability to stop the bar and have that reversal strength. And if you only touch and go, you're not getting that training effect. And I'll bet you that if you did pause training long enough for a long period of time and got away from touch and go, you'd actually be stronger with a pause than you would touch and go, because you have so much more control of the bar path when you're in that pause scenario. All right, you load your back properly, you can control the groove a lot better than taking momentum, shooting down this way, and then trying to reverse it out of nowhere there. Catch a bounce, bar squirrels off in a different direction. To be exact, pause, fire back. So that's the difference there. So I would definitely encourage you to do all your training pause, and then even add in, like I was just saying, 3 to 5 second pause work. That'll help out tremendously. All right, guys, that's a wrap for the podcast. Again, great episode with y'all. I love doing these, love answering your questions. Again, Monday, on Instagram. You can drop your questions in our stories. All right. If you're not following us on Instagram currently, at Big Bench is on Instagram. That's probably one of our most active accounts in terms of how many people are following our audience there. And we post up a lot of good stuff to help your bench press on Instagram. So that's a big channel for us. Go check that out if you're not currently a follower on Instagram at Big Benches. All right. You can also message me any videos you want me to take a look at. Like I said, we're probably going to work on putting a whole collage together and doing a whole video review segment. So, yeah, send me over your videos. Been awesome talking to you guys. Yeah, Royston, thanks, Coach. Love the podcast. I appreciate that a lot, Royston. Again, guys, check out our Thursday episodes on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. Search the Benchcast. Make sure you follow, you subscribe. Appreciate all of y'all. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next Tuesday.